emotional intelligence, and quiet strength that makes him want to know more. So what are the signs? What are the subtle yet irresistible things that show a man you're a woman of value, not just in how you look, but in how you live? Let's dive into the 5 attractive things that tell men you have class. A woman who knows her worth doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. She doesn't need to demand respect. It's already felt in the way she carries herself. One of the most powerful and attractive signs of a woman who has class is how she handles her boundaries. Not with aggression, not with coldness, but with clarity and grace. When she says no, it isn't to reject you, it's to honor herself. And there's something magnetic about that. Men are instinctively drawn to women who don't just let anyone walk into their life and rearrange the furniture. Emotional intelligence and quiet strength that makes him want to know more. So what are the signs? What are the subtle yet irresistible things that show a man you're a woman of value, not just in how you look, but in how you live? Let's dive into the 5 attractive things that tell men you have class. A woman who knows her worth doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. She doesn't need to demand respect. It's already felt in the way she carries herself. One of the most powerful and attractive signs of a woman who has class is how she handles her boundaries. Not with aggression, not with coldness, but with clarity and grace. When she says no, it isn't to reject you, it's to honor herself. And there's something magnetic about that. Men are instinctively drawn to women who don't just let anyone walk into their life and rearrange the furniture. It's not about being difficult, it's about having standards. She's not interested in impressing everyone. She's more focused on protecting her peace than gaining approval. And that kind of energy makes a man sit up and pay attention. It challenges him in the best way. Not because she plays games, but because she refuses to play small. Think about the power of a woman who, when she feels a red flag, doesn't wait around hoping it will turn green. She listens to that gut feeling. She trusts it. She removes herself without drama, without trying to fix someone who isn't ready to be fixed. That kind of quiet discipline is rare, and it's attractive because it says, I'm not afraid to be alone. I'm more afraid of losing myself in someone who doesn't value me. There's a grace to the way she sets limits. She doesn't need to lecture you, punish you, or guilt you into doing better. If she feels disrespected, she simply stops engaging. She steps back. She doesn't chase. And that absence, it speaks louder than any angry words. A man can feel it when a woman is no longer emotionally available to his inconsistency, and if he's a man of substance, it wakes him up. If he's not, she's already gone. And that's a beautiful kind of power. She also doesn't pretend to be okay with things that bother her just to keep the peace. That's not class, that's fear. A classy woman isn't afraid of rocking the boat if it means staying true to herself, but she does it with maturity. She communicates what she needs without attacking. She expresses hurt without humiliating. And when she speaks, it's not from a place of desperation, but from calm strength. That's the difference. That's what elevates her above the noise. This kind of woman knows the difference between openness and over-availability. She can care deeply, but she never makes her love a bargaining chip. She won't keep giving more in hopes that someone finally sees her value. Her value was never up for negotiation. Either you recognize it or you lose access to it. Simple as that. That's not coldness, that's clarity. And men feel it. They may not articulate it, but they sense it. She's not looking to be completed. She's already whole. She's not seeking someone to validate her. She validates herself. She's not waiting to be chosen. She does the choosing. And when she lets someone into her world, it's because they've earned the right, not because she's afraid to be alone. Even in disagreement, she holds herself with poise. She doesn't weaponize silence, nor does she explode with emotion. She chooses her battles. She doesn't need to win every argument because she's more interested in connection than control. But if someone repeatedly crosses the line, she doesn't keep giving them chances. She draws the line once, and if it's crossed, she walks. The truth is, boundaries are not just rules. They're reflections of how much you respect yourself. And when a man sees that you respect yourself enough to walk away from what's not right, it forces him to consider how he shows up. He knows he can't give you half measures and expect you to stay. He knows that if he wants a place in your life, he has to bring his best, not just his potential. And let's be honest, many people are addicted to potential. They see what someone could be and forget to pay attention to who they are right now. But a woman with class has the emotional maturity to separate fantasy from reality. She doesn't fall in love with someone's words. She watches their actions. She doesn't get stuck in cycles. She walks when she sees patterns. And she trusts that walking away doesn't mean she loses love. It means she makes space for better. Her boundaries are her compass. They guide her, protect her, and elevate her. They tell the world, this is how I expect to be treated, without her ever needing to raise her voice. And that's the kind of energy that stays with a man long after she's left the room. It challenges him to level up, to match her clarity, to respect her time, her heart, and her life. She's not trying to be perfect. She's not above vulnerability, but she knows that loving someone else should never come at the expense of abandoning herself. She's willing to grow, to compromise, to adapt, but never to shrink. That is what makes her unforgettable. That is what makes her classy. And that is what makes men who are ready for something real take notice. So if you want to show a man that you have class, don't start with the way you look or the words you say. Start with the way you protect your peace. Start with your boundaries. Because when you respect yourself, the right people will rise to meet you, and the wrong ones will walk themselves out. And either way, you win. There's something incredibly powerful about a woman who knows how to speak, not just talk, but speak with intention. It's not just what she says, it's how she says it, when she says it, and why she says it. Her words aren't random reactions. They're chosen, deliberate, and rooted in awareness. That's the difference between someone who is emotionally impulsive and someone who has class. When a woman speaks with intention, she doesn't just make noise. She leaves an impression. Men notice this immediately. It's in the way she responds, not reacts. When something upsets her, she doesn't let her emotions hijack her dignity. She gives herself space to process before she speaks. And when she does speak, it's from a grounded place. There's no need to shout, no need to accuse, no need to guilt trip. She knows her power isn't in volume, it's in her calm clarity. She doesn't use silence as a punishment, and she doesn't weaponize her feelings. She knows communication is a bridge, not a battleground. She chooses to build, not to break. That doesn't mean she suppresses her feelings or avoids hard conversations. It means she knows the difference between being emotional and being effective. She can express hurt without destroying connection. That's a rare skill, and it shows emotional intelligence, which, by the way, is one of the most underrated and powerful forms of attractiveness. What makes this so compelling to a man is that he feels safe around her. Safe to be honest, safe to be vulnerable, safe to be himself without fearing constant emotional backlash. He doesn't feel like he has to walk on eggshells, because even when things get tense, she approaches the situation with maturity. She's not trying to win arguments. She's trying to understand and be understood. She also listens. Not just with her ears, but with her presence. She doesn't interrupt just to speak. She doesn't zone out while waiting for her turn to talk. She actually hears what you're saying, and she responds in a way that makes you feel seen. That's not just attractive, it's magnetic. Because when a woman listens like that, you feel like you matter. And in a world full of distraction, that kind of attention is rare. At the same time, she doesn't talk just to learn from them and grow. Someone who doesn't just want a relationship, she wants connection, growth, alignment. And that's where intention really shines. Because she's not here to waste time. She's not interested in surface level games. She wants to build something meaningful, and her communication reflects that. This doesn't mean she's always serious. It means she knows when to be light, when to be firm, when to open up, and when to pull back. She understands timing. She understands tone, and most of all, she understands herself. That self-awareness spills into everything she says, and that's what makes her voice linger in a man's mind even long after the conversation ends. She speaks not to impress, but to connect, and that, more than anything, tells a man that she has class. There's something incredibly captivating about a woman who knows how learnt from them and grown. Someone who doesn't just want a relationship, she wants connection, growth, alignment. And that's where intention really shines. Because she's not here to waste time. She's not interested in surface level games. She wants to build something meaningful, and her communication reflects that. This doesn't mean she's always serious. It means she knows when to be light, when to be firm, when to open up, and when to pull back. She understands timing. She understands tone, and most of all, she understands herself. That self-awareness spills into everything she says, and that's what makes her voice linger in a man's mind even long after the conversation ends. She speaks not to impress, but to connect, and that, more than anything, tells a man that she has class. There's something incredibly captivating about a woman who knows how he's intrigued, curious, drawn in, not overwhelmed. Because she's not trying to prove her worth by listing her achievements, her trauma, or her relationships. She lets her presence do the talking. And it says, I know who I am. If you want to know me too, you'll need to show me who you are. That kind of mystery creates healthy tension. It makes a man want to lean in, ask more questions, and go beyond the surface. And as he does, he begins to realize that every layer she reveals is thoughtful, intentional, and meaningful. She's not just throwing pieces of herself into the world hoping someone picks them up. She's building something slowly, deliberately, with someone who shows the right energy and respect. It's not that she's hiding anything. She just knows that vulnerability isn't about being open with everyone. It's about being open with the right person at the right time. He's intrigued, curious, drawn in, not overwhelmed. Because she's not trying to prove her worth by listing her achievements, her trauma, or her relationships. She lets her presence do the talking. And it says, I know who I am. If you want to know me too, you'll need to show me who you are. That kind of mystery creates healthy tension. It makes a man want to lean in, ask more questions, and go beyond the surface. And as he does, he begins to realize that every layer she reveals is thoughtful, intentional, and meaningful. She's not just throwing pieces of herself into the world hoping someone picks them up. She's building something slowly, deliberately, with someone who shows the right energy and respect. It's not that she's hiding anything. She just knows that vulnerability isn't about being open with everyone. It's about being open with the right person at the right time. She doesn't confuse availability with intimacy. Just because she's easy to talk to doesn't mean she's easy to access emotionally. That difference matters. It's what keeps the connection from feeling rushed or shallow. Even in the early stages of dating, this woman knows how to pace the emotional tempo. She doesn't try to force closeness or manufacture chemistry. She lets things unfold naturally, allowing space for both people to show up authentically. She understands that real connection is built, not downloaded, and she's patient enough to let that happen. There's also strength in the way she holds her story. She knows what she's been through. She honors her past, but she doesn't need to lead with it. She doesn't define herself by her pain, and she doesn't use her struggles as a way to bond quickly. She may share deeply one day, but only when she feels safe, seen, and respected. That discretion, that self-retreat, that's what gives her presence a quiet, undeniable power. Men notice it. They sense that she's not emotionally desperate. She's not spilling her life out, hoping for validation or sympathy. She knows that the right man will stay, even if he doesn't get the full story on day one. And if he won't, that's okay too, because she's not afraid to let people walk if they expect access she's not ready to give. Her mystery isn't a wall. It's a filter. It separates the ones who are here for connection from the ones who are here for control. And that filter protects her peace. It ensures that only someone who's curious, respectful, and emotionally mature gets to move deeper into her world. That kind of boundary isn't harsh, it's elegant. She also knows how to keep things light and playful while still being in control of her emotional space. She can flirt, laugh, tease, and connect without giving away too much too soon. That balance between warmth and reserve, between openness and boundaries, is what makes her feel both safe and exciting. She's the kind of woman a man wants to know more about, because every moment with her feels like a glimpse, not a full reveal. And when she finally does open up, when she shares something personal or vulnerable, it lands with impact, because it's rare, because it's intentional, and because it means something. A man feels trusted, chosen, and valued, not just entertained. That's the effect of a woman who knows the value of mystery. So while others rush to be known, she takes her time. She holds her cards close, not because she's afraid, but because she's strong, because she knows that her story, her heart, and her energy are worth more than instant access. That's not a game, that's class. A woman with class knows the difference between being warm and being needy. She leads with kindness, but never desperation. Her energy is inviting, not demanding. She makes people feel comfortable, but she doesn't give them everything just to be liked. And that's what sets her apart. She doesn't seek connection by overgiving. She builds it by being fully present while still fully grounded in her self-worth. Men notice the difference right away. They feel her openness, her empathy, her lightness, but they also sense that she's not looking for someone to fill a void. She's not here to be rescued or completed. She's whole on her own. That energy makes her incredibly attractive because she gives from a place of overflow, not emptiness. When she asks how you are, she genuinely cares, but she's not tying her identity to your response. This kind of woman knows how to show interest without chasing. She can engage in a beautiful conversation, offer support, and be affectionate without making someone else's attention the center of her world. She's able to give love without losing herself in the process. That's because her sense of self isn't dependent on being needed. It's rooted in knowing she's already enough. When a woman like this walks into a room, people gravitate toward her, not because she's loud, but because she's present. Her warmth feels real, not performative. She smiles without forcing it. She listens without trying to fix. And she connects without attachment. There's a calm in her energy that makes others feel safe. And it's that calm that men find irresistible. But here's the nuance. She doesn't let people mistake her kindness for weakness. She can be sweet, but she's never soft on her standards. She may be patient, but she's not passive. If someone crosses a line, she'll speak up. If someone pulls away, she won't chase. Because her warmth doesn't come from a fear of being alone, it comes from the strength of knowing she can stand alone if she needs to. That kind of power is subtle but strong. It tells a man, I enjoy your presence, but I don't need it to feel whole. And that statement, even if it's unspoken, changes the entire dynamic. It creates a healthy balance where love is freely given, not earned through sacrifice, where attention is welcomed, not begged for, where space is respected, not feared. She also knows how to give without expectation. When she does something thoughtful, it's because it aligns with her values, not because she's trying to secure a spot in someone's life. Her kindness is real, but it's not a strategy. And that authenticity stands out in a world where so many interactions are transactional. At the same time, she pays attention to how people respond to her energy. If someone takes her for granted, she doesn't complain, she withdraws. If someone can't match her emotional maturity, she doesn't try to fix them, she moves on. Her time, her affection, her presence, their gift, and she gives them to people who understand that. Even in relationships, she keeps her center. She doesn't disappear into someone else's life. She maintains her passions, her friendships, her independence. She doesn't expect a man to be her everything. She just wants him to be someone she can grow with, not rely on to define her. That mindset keeps her grounded, and it also keeps the relationship healthy. There's something deeply attractive about a woman who knows how to care without clinging, who can love without losing herself, who can be open-hearted without being overexposed. She's not playing hard to get. She's just not playing at all. She's simply living from a place of self-respect and emotional balance. And when a man meets a woman like this, it's unforgettable because she doesn't just offer love, she offers peace, not chaos, not pressure, just the steady presence of someone who chooses him but doesn't need him. That kind of love feels rare, safe, and profoundly powerful. That's the difference between being warm and being desperate. One invites real connection, the other chases it. And the woman who knows that difference, she radiates class in everything she does.